The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John.
Glory to you, O Lord.
A man named John was sent from God. He came for testimony, to testify to the light, so that all might believe through him. He was not the light, but came to testify to the light. And this is the testimony of John. When the Jews from Jerusalem sent priests and Levites to him to ask him, "Who are you?" he admitted and did not deny it, but admitted, "I am not the Christ." So they asked him, "Who are you then? Are you Elijah?" And he said, "I am not." "Are you the prophet?" He answered, "No." So they said to him, "Who are you? So we can give an answer to those who sent us. What do you have to say for yourself?" He said, "I am the voice of one crying out in the desert, 'Make straight the way of the Lord.' As Isaiah the prophet said." Some Pharisees were also sent. They asked him, "Why then do you baptize, if you are not the Christ or Elijah or the prophet?" John answered them, "I baptize with water, but there is one among you whom you do not recognize, the one who is coming after me, whose sandal strap I am not worthy to untie." This happened in Bethany across the Jordan, where John was baptizing. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
The third Sunday of the season of Advent is named Gaudete Sunday. Gaudete is an imperative word, a Latin word, which is to rejoice. Kaya sa ating pagninilay po ngayong umaga, there are two questions for ourselves. First is, saan ko ba natatagpuan ang galak sa buhay? Where do I find my joy in life? And the second question is, how can I be joyful every day? And so the first question is, where do I find my joy? All of us want to be joyful, hindi po ba? Gusto nating magkaroon ng galak, saya, tuwa sa buhay. But that is not the question. The question is, saan ba natatagpuan itong saya, galak sa buhay? Where do you find your joy in life? And the answer is God. True joy can only be found in God. And this is the context of the first reading from the book of the prophet Isaiah. That for the prophet Isaiah, even in times of difficulties, struggles, pain, suffering, there is still joy. Because the joy that is found in God is constant. It is permanent. It endures. It is not dependent on the circumstances of life. Ibig sabihin, kahit anong mangyari sa buhay, if your joy is found in God, you are still joyful. Kahit anong mangyari, kahit nawalan ka ng mahal sa buhay, kahit nawalan ka ng trabaho, kahit nagkasakit ka, kahit may pagsubok ka sa buhay, kahit may problema ka, you are still joyful. Bakit? Your joy is not dependent on the circumstances of life. And this is a good reminder for all of us. Because yes, we aspire for joy in life. Pero ang problema is where we find joy. Kaya nga kung tatanungin mo yung ibang tao, saan mo ba natatagpuan yung saya mo? Ano yung mga kadalasan ninyong naririnig na sagot? Ay, masaya ako dahil may bonus ako. Paano kung naubos yung bonus mo? Masaya ka pa ba? Ay, masaya ako dahil bakasyon na. Holiday. Paano kung balik eskwela na, balik trabaho na, masaya ka pa ba? Masaya ako dahil healthy ako. Paano kapag tinamaan ka ng COVID? Paano kapag nagkasakit ka? Masaya ka pa ba? We place our sense of joy in the wrong things. Kaya nga tignan ninyo mga tao, pabago-bago, masaya ngayon, bukas hindi. Masaya ngayon, mamaya hindi. Bakit? If it is not God, the source of our joy, yung joy po natin, pabago-bago. It's not constant, it's not permanent. Kaya yan ang unang mensahe sa atin ng Ebanghelyo. Yes, of course, baka masaya naman tayo na may natanggap tayong bonus o magkaroon tayo ng pagsasalo ngayong Pasko, lalong-lalong tayo magpapamilya. But ultimately, our joy must always be found in God. The true source of our joy in life is God. And if that happens, kahit anong mangyari sa buhay, you will still find joy. Ngayon yung pangalawang tanong, ano ngayon? Paano ngayon ako magiging masaya? How can I be joyful every day? How can I practice this joy every day? At sa ating Ebanghelyo, napakalinaw. It's the image of John the Baptist. At alam niyo po, in the season of Advent, isa sa pinaka-importanteng karakter ng Adbyento is John the Baptist, the precursor, the forerunner of the Messiah, who prepared the way of the Lord. Pero anong sinasabi ni Juan Bautista dito sa Ebanghelyo? So that we can also practice days every day, so that we can be joyful every day. Unang-una is, be honest with yourself. Ibig sabihin, do not pretend to be somebody who you are not. Bakit? Kaya nga si John the Baptist, napakaganda ang kanyang karakter. Bakit? Tinanong siya, ikaw ba si Kristo? Ay, hindi po. Ikaw ba si Elias? Ay, hindi rin. Ikaw ba isang propet? Hindi rin. Bakit? He was so honest with himself. He did not pretend to be the Messiah. He did not pretend to be the Elijah or the prophet. Instead, he would say, I am a voice crying out in the desert. Honesty with oneself. If you are pretending to be someone who you are not, you will never be joyful in life. In short, if you have a lot of masks in front of people, you will never be happy. Well, of course, lahat po tayo may face mask dahil kay COVID, no? But you see, many people wear masks for themselves. Bakit? So that they can be accepted. So that they can be welcomed by people, by society. Para matanggap sila, para maging kaaya-aya sila. But will you be happy if you pretend to be someone who you are not and you wear masks every day, in your work, at home, with your friends, no. The only way for us to be joyful is, let us be honest with who we are. Kung sino tayo, maging totoo tayo sa sarili at tanggap natin kung sino tayo sa harap ng Diyos, sa harap ng tao. Ibig sabihin, let us shave our pretenses in life. Let us shave and take away our masks para maipakita yung tunay na tayo. And when you are able to do that, alam ko, magiging masaya ka dahil tanggap mo kung sino ka. Hindi mo kailangan magpanggap sa tao, sa ibang tao, sa trabaho or whatever, kundi, eto ako, tanggap ko, masaya ako kung sino ako. That's how to be joyful. And finally, from the life of John the Baptist in the gospel, so that we can practice joy is, let us be humble. If you are proud, you can never be joyful. Sabi nga nila, the loneliest people in the world are the proud people. The happiest people in the world are the humble people. Can you just imagine si John the Baptist? His role was so great. Why? Because he came to prepare the way of the Lord. And no one would have that privilege. It's only John the Baptist. Pero anong sabi niya? In the second to the last paragraph of the gospel, he would say, there is one mightier than I, whose sandal strap I am not even worthy to untie. Alam niyo po, yung mga alipin, sila yung tagatanggal ng strap ng mga sandals. Pero sinasabi ni John the Baptist, kahit yung maging alipin na magkalag ng straps ng sandals niya, ay hindi pa rin ako karapat-dapat. That is how humble John the Baptist was. Kaya sana sa atin, let us remain humble before God and before people. The greater tendency kasi is, if you are at a pedestal, it's very difficult to be humble. Kumbaga, tumataas yung pride mo. Pag naluklok ka, umangat ka, tumaas ka, kahit yung ego mo tumataas din. Kumbaga, magkasama yan. But let us look at John the Baptist. Itinaas siya to be the forerunner and the precursor of the Messiah. And yet, he remained humble. Ibig sabihin, pwede ka bang maging humble kahit naluklok ka at umangat ka? Yes! In fact, that is the challenge. To be joyful, whatever you have achieved, whatever your status in life, it should not make you proud. Rather, it should even make you more humble before God. And so, my dear brothers and sisters, papalapit na po tayo sa Pasko. In fact, isang linggo na lang, then we enter into the season of Christmas. And of course, Christmas is about rejoicing, being joyful. Pero sana may remind po sa atin, tanong, where do I find my joy in life? Is God the source of my joy in life? And secondly, how can I be joyful? Just like the Baptist, John the Baptist, I will be honest with who I am. I don't have to pretend before people. And whatever I have and achieve in life, I will remain humble before God and before people. We all stand. I believe